Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we've got a really interesting episode, and I think it's the perfect time to do it. And it's about conifers, pine trees, evergreen trees, whatever you'd prefer to call them. We're not going to get into the specifics or the scientifics of the actual tree today. We're just going to talk about how fun it is to keep these things because of their beneficial ability for doing bonsai. Here's and specifically some of them will grow really fast. I noticed the pine trees, which they're kind of frowned on for bonsai, but I don't see why, because look at this thing. It's coming back, and you know they're coming back again for the year when you see that. When you see went in a little bit too close there, but you can see the new needles coming off, and that's how you know that they've survived through the winter, because you see those new needles. So your best bet's collecting these from the woods, from a source, from a pine forest that is not where you're not going to be taking something that's going to be missed, is pretty much what I mean. So going to the woods in a dense pine forest, or a pine tree forest. I live in a place where there's pretty much pine trees everywhere. So you can collect them from the woods and then get them into these pots, and it's just so easy to turn them into bonsai, and especially when you get them when they're young, you can pretty much do whatever you want. I have this one twisted into like a kind of an interesting form here. It needs up potted this year for sure. I'm gonna up pot it, let this base get thicker, because I think once this thickens up, that'll look really gnarly, and it's still living. This one I'm just gonna grow standard. This one, now you can tell that these are different species. Like even this one and this one are different species because of the color, and then especially this one because you can see the comb. The new cone that's coming out is totally different, and the needles are totally different. You don't really have to worry about the exact species when you're doing bonsai. It's kind of a general rule that I use peat moss and perlite for everything, so it's not going to matter the species. I know that all pine trees and coniferous trees like to stay wet, but not too wet. They do need a lot of water, and that's one thing that will come into play a lot when you're keeping these small guys. Because see, what will happen is, right here I have a very young specimen, but if you were to leave this out in the sun, and even today it might happen, but if you left this out in the sun, it could dry up and die all in one day. And right here's actually a dual planting with an ash tree, pretty old ash tree actually, it's like 4 years old, on the other side. So that means it'll dry up even faster. It's got two trees competing for the water in here, and if it's on a rack like this in the sun, it will dry up right away. So once summertime comes, if you're doing bonsai, you keep your bonsai in the shade and it doesn't grow very well or fast, or you keep it in the sun and you water daily. So I think that I always contemplated, like, for a long time, like, why is bonsai not as popular as it should be? Because it's so it's so beneficial. It's actually pretty cheap to do if you want it to be. It's so versatile. It has so many good things, but I think it's because the summertime months, and if you're doing bonsai, you do bring it outside you keep it outside all year round traditionally, On my bonsai, I do keep outside all year round, but especially in the summer, it's outside so you can get fast growth on it. But the problem is that when they're on these racks and stuff like that, with these shallow pots, it'll dry out. So I think it's gotten a bad rap because, or just not as many people do it, because that's a pretty big commitment to say like, oh, I have to water every day or all these are gonna die, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much just a fact. I enjoy it. Like, it's very cathartic to me to water. I love watering plants, so it's good for me. But yeah, I think that's what happened. So let's see if we can find a couple more pine trees. I love to get young ones. See, when you're collecting, see how young these are? I got these ones when they were like maybe just sprouted, like a week old. And I put them in I call these my community pots. So this is a community, different young trees all planted together at a very young age, super close together. And there was probably hundreds in here. A lot of them died off and went back to the soil to feed the other ones that lived, but some of them lived. It's maple trees, pine trees, and then you got these random arborvitae, green giant arborvitae cuttings that seem to have rooted too and lived, which is great. Maybe not this one, but maybe, who knows. So also have a wild bush specimen here. I think it's like a holly variety that's good for bonsai, but so you can do that. You can get like a basket like this and fill it with dirt and stuff, and then I've got the lava rocks in there to help with the root growth. You can do that and do that for all the pine trees, or you can just do them individually, like this one. I'm really happy with this one. I think this is a great size pot. Probably leave it in here for another year and then I'll pot it, but yeah, this is just good size for not like what I was talking about, drying out too quick. These dry out too quick. I think this is the year where I'm gonna phase everything out of these small ones because everything's big enough now, and gets a little bit larger, get committed to some larger pots so that I don't have to worry so much about drying out, because in the real heat of the summer too, you can water in the morning and everything dries out by the afternoon. You might have to water 2-3 times a day, you know. It gets ridiculous. This right here's and I would hate to lose these plants, so you kind of have to do it. Look at this. This is a miniature mulberry tree that I'm bonsaiing out, and it looks like it's actually gonna fruit at this size. It's only like maybe 4 inches, 5 inches tall, but yeah, I mean, if I and that's just a cutting. So this whole shelf that you're looking at is all free material, and to be honest, I'm more proud of this shelf than anything else. So that should tell you a lot about bonsai and keeping plants. There's something about going out, connecting with nature, and actually like seeing these trees in their natural environment and then bringing them into your environment. Look at this pine tree with that beautiful cones coming on. And yeah, I mean, even this, look at this small specimen of again, I'm not sure what type of evergreen. I know it's some sort of conifer, but I'm not sure. This was found in the wild like that. It already looks like a bonsai. Like, look at the trunk is pretty thick, but then the stature is so squat. And then this one over here, just my pride and joy that I found in the wild. And a lot of times it's not the easiest to get these to transfer over and live. I put them in my perlite and peat moss mix, and then I put little bit of native soil in there, and then I put, but not much, because it'll bound up the pot and make it not drainable. It's all clay. And then I put moss on top. So speak to the devil. I mean, everything definitely needs water, especially this right here. Yeah, if I were you, it's just starting out, or even if you're not, and you just want, like, thinking about spending money on bonsai, that's another problem. I just wouldn't do that. Unless you're going to compete or something like that. I think it's more gratifying to just get the stuff over the years and create it yourself. As far as pots go, bonsai pots, that's traditional. I definitely think spending the money on the pots is definitely worth it. The actual material, the bonsai tree, should be like, it's pretty much from your soul. So you don't want to buy a pre-made bonsai. You're like buying someone else's soul, someone else's art. I guess it's good to support other artists, but bonsai is really about personal growth. And these trees are a showcase of what you can create with your hand, in collaboration with Mother Nature. So when someone sees your bonsai collection, you say, "This is my bonsai," I don't think it'd be right to say this is my bonsai unless you originally created the bonsai, because you wouldn't show someone a painting by Andy Warhol on your wall and say, "That's my painting, I did that." They'd be like, "No, you didn't." It's the same thing. So bonsai is art, and I think a great place to start is the woods, just looking for these little guys, because that's they kind of stand out too, like the evergreens. They're always there. And then a second to that would definitely be these maple trees. You'll see these are all sugar maples, but that's great for bonsai too. So I'd go to the woods, and anything young, don't take too much, obviously. You don't want the woods to have no young trees, but take anything that catches your eye, anything that looks different. The reason I took this one right here, a little story. I have a little story about every tree. That's another fun thing about going to find them. This one right here I took because it's squatted over, and I really like that in bonsai. That's a good thing. And it has a natural squat, so naturally it's curving over like that. No wire ever applied. That's Mother Nature, and Mother Nature decided to let it live with me. So I'm very happy for that, and it even seems to be embracing its curve even more so with these new branches coming out and just curving down even more. So that's great. It's like a natural semi-cascade. When you go out into nature, you'll also learn a lot about bonsai and a lot about different characteristics that are said to be popular in bonsai, but really bonsai just took it from Mother Nature. Bonsai is just emulating Mother Nature. That's all it is. So it's emulating how a tree would grow in nature. So of course you find the best bonsai in nature. Well, I really appreciate everyone watching. We're gonna end the video here. Hopefully you go out, do some wild collecting today. Be friendly to the environment, be peaceful, be nice, be kind. Most importantly, keep growing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, tap the like button, tap the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.